You want to know how I really feel? Don't get mad. You're gonna get mad. You want to know how I really feel? I feel like you shouldn't get married. And I know I've already said this, but whenever I go to give advice on all these horror stories that I see, whether it be with like Hailey Bieber or other people, or that trend that's going around right now where it's like, oh, but there used to be a time. I really wish women would stop getting married. And there's always a conversation that's being had around like SW and how like SW sets women back and how it feeds into the patriarchy. And just because a woman chooses to participate in it doesn't mean that it's not still harmful and doesn't mean that it's empowering. And that's a whole nother conversation. But if we're going to say that about SW, I think this is my little opinion. That's probably going to make you mad, but I feel like the same can be said for marriage. Marriage is an antiquated idea that I believe oppresses women and unrefutably has a history and an origination in the oppression of women. So I feel like we're trying to continue to get something to work that is so flawed from its inception, and it's not going to work. Okay. I don't know what the answers are. It's not something that I personally consider because I wrote off getting married since I was a little girl. I put together the pieces of what marriage was and I was like, oh yeah, no, thank you. And it just hurts my heart. I initially my stance was like, some women, that's really what they want in their lives. I'm gonna, I am more of a choice feminist in that way. I'm like, that's what they want. I want them to be able to have the freedom to make choices and to choose the kind of life that they want, and that is what they want. So it's great. But then I see these videos of these young women who are buying into this fairy tale that I believe is not, it's a lie a little bit, right? And that sounds really cynical, but it doesn't have to be cynical because life is beautiful and there's so many other things that you can want out of life. But I just feel like with the whole marriage thing, the odds are not stacked in your favor. And I think we need to kind of like dispel the idea a little bit and kind of rethink the way that we see marriage.
You never want to be anybody's girlfriend, and now you're somebody's wife.
Surprised me too.
I don't think I'll ever understand that. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Just happened. I said I love the Smiths.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I wanted to talk about the MJ Gray situation. For those who are not familiar, MJ Gray was a red pillish, decentering men content creator who told women to swear off of men altogether. And I say red pillish because she wasn't the true definition of decentering men, in that people who tell you to decenter men will often do it from a more nuanced approach, where rather than telling you to swear off of men completely, they simply just tell you to not make a man the center of your universe and to prioritize other goals in addition to you pursuing relationships with men if that's what you desire. And while sometimes MJ would kind of teeter on that premise, a lot of times she would tell you to swear off of men completely, not trust men, all men are evil, blah, blah, blah. And she gained a large following, primarily from women who were traumatized by men. And she would kind of just use that to trauma bond, if you will, with women who had very real trauma and pain and would capitalize off of that. And now fast forward in 2026, the year of our Lord, MJ Gray, who was once very much anti-male, is now engaged to a man, right? And good for her, congratulations, whatever. But the issue with this is that she was spoon feeding to, I don't know how many subscribers and followers she had across her platforms, but it was probably close to millions of people. Even if you weren't locked in as a regular supporter, you probably more than likely came across her content at some point. And there were impressionable women who were dealing with some really deep betrayals and hurts from men that looked to her and many others like her as a source of truth and as a source of how to navigate dealing with men. Because unfortunately, we're seeing a growing number where women are evolving and choosing better for themselves, choosing to be better human beings just in general. And a big part of that is focusing on their careers, becoming more self-sufficient instead of relying on a man for their quality of life and things like that, which was the case for many women 20, 30, 50 years ago. And also learning to be more emotionally intelligent, not just for better outcomes in their friendships, family relationships, romantic relationships, but just for themselves, so that they can attract better people and just live overall peaceful, wholesome lives. Whereas you see men, there are men who are doing the work, and you see them on social media holding each other accountable and saying, look, man, like, you dogging out your woman is not funny anymore. It's not cute anymore. It's not a badge of honor. There's a trend where, like, there's men who will make TikToks saying, sorry, bro, we can't hang out with you anymore because you cheat on your wife and you lie to her, whatever. Like, you're not allowed in our circle. So, yes, I will acknowledge that there's a growing number of men who are doing the work to be better human beings and to treat women better. But unfortunately, that growth is not happening fast enough, and it is outpacing, or women's growth and development is outpacing men's growth and development, hence the growing number of lonely men. Okay, they're now calling this, probably the first time in history, the male loneliness epidemic, because up until this point, again, men benefited from women being fully dependent on them, right? All you had to do was be a man, and not even be a man with any money, skills, accolades, whatever. All you had to do was be a man and show some form of interest in a woman, and that was enough to secure you a woman. And now the tables are turning and women are expecting more, because it's like, I can take care of myself. I have my own career. I have my own money, my own assets, etc. I no longer have to subject myself to your ill treatment in the name of, well, I hope I get chosen by a man because my livelihood depends on it, right? So those are the type of women that are gravitating towards MJ Gray's storyline, and many other women like her. I talk about decentering men as well, but not from the stance of all men are evil and whatever. It's from the stance of choosing better because you can choose better. You have the luxury now, I guess if you want to call it a luxury, to choose better because you're not financially dependent upon a man for your livelihood. And because you're not financially dependent upon a man for your livelihood, your sense of self-worth, your self-esteem, etc., should also not be dependent upon a man. Okay. But when it becomes semi-predatory, when you go to the extreme, for some content creators, they tell you to use men for their money, to finesse them. And that's a dangerous game to play, because there are many stories that you probably won't even hear about on the internet because they're not popular, and they help to debunk the female red pill or pink pill movement, if you will. There are women who are getting hurt. There are women who are being imprisoned. There are women who are facing very real consequences of thinking that they can con well-to-do men out of their money. And this is how you know these women are foolish. Just as an aside before I get to MJ, this is how you know that these women are foolish, and they always fail at the game when they meet their match, because these men did not become successful from just out of a fluke, just on a whim. They became successful from employing various strategies to get them to where they are, and not just to get them to where they are, but to keep them where they are. It's one thing to climb the ladder, the corporate ladder. It's one thing to build your business. It's one thing to become successful. It's another thing to keep your position. And I'm not even talking about money here. Those of you who understand the game of corporate and power and strategy, you'll know exactly what I'm saying. I don't have to explain it. And so these men can see manipulation a mile away. They can see a woman who obviously doesn't have her own resources, looking for an easy catch, thinking that she's going to use her pretty face and her fat ass to finesse him out of money. And some men will play the game long enough to extract what they want from that woman and then dump her when he no longer needs her, or when she's getting too close and becoming too dangerous to him. And that can end in many different ways. Some women are unalived. Some women are embarrassed. Some women go to prison. Some women are sued. And so going off on the other spectrum and thinking that you're gonna decenter men, have this red pill notion of decentering men to the point that you think that it is your right to finesse people out of their stuff, is dangerous. And that's why I tell women to have your own stuff, to be self-sufficient, because a man of means who has been around women who are self-sufficient, they know the game. They know the difference between a woman who is clearly desperate and has nothing of her own and is looking for him as a cash cow rather than getting her own career, business, whatever, and a woman who has her own shit. And the woman who has her own stuff will never be in a position where a man can finesse her and mistreat her, because she can simply walk away. Whereas the girl who has nothing of her own, or who thinks that a man is going to be her meal ticket, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm feeling a bit evil, or I'm feeling like I want to take advantage of something. I'm going to take advantage of this girl for as long as I can and then throw her away. because she is playing games with me, I'm going to play games with her right back. So you actually gain more leverage and you actually position yourself more strategically, women, as an aside, when you do away with the whole, I'm going to only use men for their money and their resources and kind of just treat them as expendable trinkets, if you will. And yes, I always tell women to only date men with means. I mean, that's basic stuff. I'm not going to even explain. Those who understand will understand, right? Only date men with means. Do not date a bum. Do not date men who have nothing to offer, because you're working at a deficit. You're working at a deficit for the simple fact that men are living and operating in a patriarchal society, and so by extension it is much easier for them to navigate. Men will earn more money than a woman for doing the same type of role with the same type of skills. So you thinking that you're gonna operate in a patriarchal sexist society and then help a man out, girl, like that's the stupidest thing that you can do. But so back to MJ. MJ told all of her followers and those who would listen to, like, men are evil, just play with them, use them as toys and throw them away, right? And then she went around, she turned around and didn't take her own advice and is now engaged to a man, okay? And again, catch the crux of the argument that I'm trying to make here. Being engaged to a man is not a bad thing. It's a beautiful thing when you're able to be in a wholesome, healthy relationship with a man who is not trying to finesse you and play you and lie to you and do all these things. But it becomes dangerous when you listen to certain rhetoric on the internet and you internalize it without filtering out truths, right? Or filtering out harmful messaging and just holding on to the truth. Because guess what? A lot of these women, like MJ and others, some of what they say and a lot of what they say is actually true. They say the dark feminine information that most people dance around and sugarcoat, right? And so that's what keeps the audience tuned in and listening to their message. But it becomes dangerous when they start to sprinkle in other harmful rhetoric that women who are impressionable and naive and ignorant to life and operating in relationships will also absorb that information and think that they're going to successfully achieve it. And then they become heartbroken when they see their guru turn around and do the complete opposite of what they said of what they told you not to do. So she was sitting here telling you, don't get engaged, don't marry men, stay away from men, don't procreate with them, blah, blah, blah. But then here she is riding off into the sunset with a high earning man who gave her the life that she wanted. Okay, so moral of the story is take the information from the internet with a grain of salt, because everything that you see on the internet is a facade and people are going to put out what's popular. So again, right now it's extremism, whether it's in dating, politics, racism, etc. And many influencers like MJ have been exposed for not practicing what they preach. And yes, you can say that maybe, she truly did believe in her message, but then she changed her mind because she met someone and now he was able to convert her to the other side. While that is true, that is highly unlikely for most influencers. Most people care about clicks and views and generating income from the clicks and views because it is still a very much lucrative business. And if you can find something that is provocative and that adds some sort of shock value to the algorithm, you're going to succeed. And right now, we're kind of on the tail end of this, but right now, telling women that they have power in finessing men is popular, but we're starting to see influencers not take their own advice and they're getting finessed. A prime example of this is Wizard Liz. I made a video about this previously, I'll tag it, and now MJ Gray. Okay, people are going to do what they want despite telling you to do the opposite. It's sort of the rules for thee, but not for me. Okay, and even if in the back of her mind, she wanted and so strongly desired a relationship with a man, but for some reason, maybe she previously dealt with a couple breakups that did not go well. Rather than having extreme rhetoric to say that, men ain't shit and the only use is for you to use them, adopting a more nuanced approach to your messaging is always more useful. But of course, again, like, influencers are not going to do that. They're not going to do the due diligence and the homework for you. That is literally your job. They're going to put out what is going to get them paid and what is going to get them paid quickly. And I've always said that women who tell other women to lower their standards, for example, to not date men or to not be educated, to not pursue a career or be sexy, any type of limiting belief, oh, don't do this, don't date men, don't go on dates and allow men to spoil you, or don't do X, Y, and Z. A lot of these women do so because they're jealous and they're not able to access what you have in that moment. So they want to level the playing field by stopping you from going after what they want. And I don't know if that's that's the case for MJ. Maybe it is because she very vehemently told women not to go after men. But let's face it, a lot of these women do it because they feel inadequate and they want to eliminate the competition by telling you to lower your standards, right? And they're getting paid to tell you to lower your standards, but then they're in the background doing the complete opposite of what they're telling you to do. They're in the background taking Shira Seven's advice. They're in the background adopting the strategies that the Instagram baddies are adopting to attract male attention. And it looks like it's worked for MJ. Okay, so in this case, MJ told women not to date men because she didn't want to see other women having the type of relationship that she thought was impossible in that moment. But the moment that her dream came true, she immediately dropped what she preached to her audience and went after what she wanted. Right? And then even had the audacity to tell you, well, joke's on you for listening to me, which proves that what she was saying was bullshit and that she was trying to level the playing field and remove the competition, right? And this is operating from a scarcity mindset, thinking that there's not enough to go around. And yes, if you have certain specifications, certain requirements for the type of partner that you want to be with, right? So high earning, he has a certain net worth, he needs to be 6 feet tall, he needs to blah, 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 the certain popular parameters. Obviously, the pool is going to get smaller as you rise to the top. But even though people keep saying this, women who truly stay their course and go after what they want, they always seem to end up finding exactly what they're looking for. Which tells me that there is enough to go around. You just have to be willing to, for Black women, date outside your race, be patient, but also continue to put yourself out there. Are you entering the right type of spaces that's going to attract what you're looking for? Or are you hoping that you're going to find your Prince Charming on Hinge or on Tinder, God forbid? This is why I tell you to live life on your own terms and don't listen to extremism or just any rhetoric, honestly. Any information that you hear on the internet, including my messaging, always fact check, number one, but also learn how to compartmentalize, learn how to take what is useful and meaningful to you and just simply ignore what is extreme, ignore what doesn't work for you, and ignore what you know goes against your better judgment. Many women are coming from a place of hurt and are just rejecting, which is why they push that rhetoric, and which is why it would be stupid of you to just blindly absorb any information that, people tell you on the internet, hoping that it's going to work for you. If you listen to people blindly, completely 100%, you're going to rob yourself of a happy life. Yes, there are bad men out there. Relationships can be challenging. Building a career is hard. Maintaining your looks is hard. But being bitter, mean, resentful, lazy, and letting yourself go, those are also hard and probably harder than putting in the effort that is necessary to build a sustainable life. And if you allow these women to rob you of being hot when you're young, capitalize off of your looks, capitalize off of the energy and the creativity that you have in your youth, yes, also in your 30s, especially in your 30s, actually. If you allow these women to convince you to let yourself go, it's not worth putting any effort into your looks, into your physique. Don't worry about taking care of yourself. You're too old to find someone that's going to be attracted to you. You're going to turn around, you're going to grow up, and you're going to turn into those miserable aunties who gave up on life and who is now telling you to also give up on life. That's going to be your reality and your future. And one day you're going to turn around and tell some young hot thing to give up on life and to stop trying because you internalize the information of another auntie that previously gave up on her life. So if you're smart and you know that you did everything in your power to make the right decisions and you still fail, even if you do go after, I'm talking about going after your dreams now, right? You say, okay, I want to have it all. I want to have the healthy, happy relationship. I want to have the prospering career. I want to have the hot body so that if I decide in February that I want to take a trip to Costa Rica, I can do so and not worry about my body not looking good. Right? Even if you do all these things, you achieve all these things, you pursue all these things, you're doing everything right, and you still fail, right? Your relationship ends, you don't get the promotion, your business slows down, you get sick, God forbid. It's not an indication that you should give up or that you're undeserving or that you did something wrong. It could just mean that now is not your time, you need to tweak something, or you are being protected from something harmful in that moment that is not for you. Sometimes it could be that man is not for you. He's simply just a lesson for you to learn how to, maybe he introduced you to a certain type of life that refined your skills or that refined your taste in the finer things. So now when you actually meet someone else who's going to do right by you, you already know how to speak that language because you've already been in that space. For a business, maybe it's you learn from that business failing and you're able to employ certain type of strategies to improve upon your business. So it's like, okay, I made a mistake in this area one time. I'm going to tweak my strategy and not do that again, so that next time I encounter this situation or something similar, I know how to navigate that without struggling to navigate that. And when you go through life not being afraid to fail, not being afraid to be embarrassed, you're going to walk away with lessons that will make you stronger, wiser, happier, hotter, fitter in the future. And then when the right opportunity comes to you, it's going to be a natural fit. It's going to be easy and it's just going to flow and connect easier for you. All right, those are my thoughts on the topic. Let me know what you think down below in the comments, and I will talk to you in the next video.